The morning bell rang across Lincoln Middle School, and students flooded through the main entrance like they did every weekday. Backpacks bounced against shoulders, sneakers squeaked on polished floors, and the usual chaos of 7th grade filled the hallways. Among the crowd of kids rushing to their lockers, one girl walked a little slower than the rest. Her name was Lily, and she kept her eyes fixed on the floor tiles as she made her way to homeroom. She wore a blue dress that day. It was the same blue dress she'd worn yesterday, and the day before that. In fact, if anyone had been paying close attention since the school year started 5 weeks ago, they would have noticed that Lily wore that same dress almost every single day. The dress itself wasn't anything special. It had tiny white flowers printed near the neckline, and the hem fell just below her knees. The fabric was cotton, soft from many washes, and the color had faded from navy to a lighter shade of blue. There was a small spot near the waistline where the stitching had come loose, something Lily's mother had tried to repair with thread that didn't quite match. At first, nobody really noticed. The first week of school is always a blur of new schedules, finding classrooms and figuring out where you fit in the social hierarchy of middle school. But by the 3rd week, whispers started. "Did you see what she's wearing again?" One girl muttered to her friend during passing period. "I think that's the same dress from Monday," another voice added from somewhere behind Lily in the lunch line. Lily heard them. She always heard them, but she pretended not to, gripping her lunch tray a little tighter and focusing on putting one foot in front of the other. The cafeteria felt like walking through a minefield. Every table seemed full, and even though there were technically empty seats here and there, nobody ever invited her to sit down. She found her usual spot in the far corner at a table near the emergency exit door. It was the kind of table nobody wanted, because it was too close to where teachers stood monitoring the room. Lily didn't mind. She actually preferred it. Fewer people walked past her there. Fewer chances for comments or stares. Her lunch was simple that day. A peanut butter sandwich wrapped in a paper towel, an apple that had seen better days, and a small carton of milk from the school's free lunch program. She ate quickly, mechanically, not really tasting anything. The faster she finished, the faster she could leave. There was a quiet corner in the library where she spent most of her lunch periods. Hidden between shelves of books nobody ever checked out, Mrs. Patterson, Lily's English teacher, noticed things that most teachers missed. She'd been teaching for 17 years, long enough to spot when a student was struggling beyond just homework and tests. She noticed how Lily always volunteered to help clean up after class, probably to avoid the rush in the hallways. She noticed how the girls' essays were beautifully written, but always about characters who felt invisible or overlooked. And yes, she noticed the blue dress. One afternoon after class, Mrs. Patterson gently asked if everything was okay at home. Lily's response was quick, practiced, like she'd been preparing for this question. "Everything's fine, Mrs. Patterson. Really. I just like this dress a lot. It's comfortable." The smile Lily gave didn't quite reach her eyes, but she grabbed her backpack and hurried out before her teacher could ask anything else. Mrs. Patterson watched her go, a knot of concern tightening in her chest. She'd been a teacher long enough to recognize that kind of smile. It was the smile kids wore when they were protecting something or someone. The truth was, things at home were far from fine, but Lily had promised her mother she wouldn't tell anyone. It wasn't that her mother didn't care. If anything, she cared too much, worked too hard, worried too constantly. But caring doesn't pay the electric bill. Worry doesn't put food on the table. Lily's father had died in a construction accident 13 months ago. One moment he was fine, laughing at breakfast about something silly one of Lily's younger brothers had said. The next moment, Lily's whole world collapsed. The funeral, the bills, the confused looks on her little brothers' faces when they asked when Daddy was coming home. It all became a blur of grief and struggle. Her mother, Rebecca, worked as a cashier at a grocery store during the day and cleaned offices at night. On weekends, she picked up shifts at a diner when they were short-staffed. Lily watched her mother leave before sunrise and come home long after dark. Exhaustion etched into every line of her face. There were nights when Lily heard her mother crying quietly in the bathroom, trying to muffle the sound so the kids wouldn't hear. Money was so tight it felt like they were being squeezed from all sides. Rent, utilities, car insurance, groceries, her brother's school supplies. Every dollar had a destination before it even arrived. Lily's mother made the hard choices every single day. Feed the kids or fix the broken washing machine, buy winter coats for the boys or pay the phone bill. There was never enough to do everything. Lily understood this even if her mother never said it directly. She saw the calculator on the kitchen table surrounded by bills. She noticed when dinner portions got smaller. She heard the stress in her mother's voice during phone calls with the landlord, asking for just a few more days to make rent. So when the school year started and Lily realized she'd grown over the summer, that most of her clothes from last year didn't fit anymore, she didn't say anything. Her brothers were growing even faster. 6-year-old Danny had shot up 3 inches and his shoes were practically falling apart. 9-year-old Michael needed new pants because his ankles showed beneath the hems of all his old ones. The blue dress still fit. It was really the only thing in Lily's closet that did. There were a couple of t-shirts that were too tight across the shoulders, and a pair of jeans with a broken zipper that she kept meaning to fix but never did. Everything else belonged to a smaller version of herself, a girl from before her father died, before everything changed. Every evening, Lily washed the dress in the sink using hand soap. She'd hang it over the shower rod and pray it would dry by morning. Usually it did. Sometimes it was still slightly damp, but she wore it anyway. She learned to stand near the heater vents in the hallway at school until the moisture evaporated. Nobody knew this routine. Nobody saw the careful way she hand-washed the fabric, or the worry she felt each time, wondering if this would be the wash that finally wore it through. Nobody understood that this dress wasn't a fashion choice or some weird statement. It was survival. It was all she had. Back in the cafeteria, week after week, the whispers grew louder. Some kids started making jokes. A boy named Tyler made a comment during gym class about how Lily must really love that dress since she was basically married to it. His friends laughed. Lily changed quickly in the locker room and left, her cheeks burning with shame. Another girl, Jessica, started a rumor that Lily probably smelled bad because she wore the same clothes all the time. It wasn't true. Lily was meticulous about staying clean, about washing the dress, about doing everything she could to not give people more reasons to notice her. But rumors don't need truth to spread. The hardest part wasn't even the comments. It was the isolation. Lily felt like she was living behind glass, watching everyone else live their normal lives while she existed in some separate, harder version of reality. She saw other girls complaining about which outfit to wear, debating between 3 different pairs of shoes, trading clothes with friends. It felt like they lived on a different planet. At night, lying in the bed she shared with her little brother Danny, Lily sometimes let herself cry quietly. She missed her dad with an ache that never fully went away. She missed feeling like a normal kid. She missed not having to worry about whether a dress would last one more day. But morning always came, and with it, Lily would carefully wash her dress again, hang it to dry, and prepare herself for another day of being invisible. She had no way of knowing that someone was watching. Someone who would soon see past the dress to the girl underneath. Someone who would change everything. Maya Chen had always considered herself observant. Her grandmother used to say she had eyes that noticed things other people missed. Maya noticed when her best friend was upset even before she said anything. She noticed when her dog was limping slightly on his back leg before anyone else saw it. And yes, she noticed the girl in the blue dress. At first, Maya was like everyone else. She saw the dress, registered it somewhere in the back of her mind, and moved on with her day. But unlike the others who started whispering and judging, Maya found herself getting curious. Not in a mean way, more like puzzled. There had to be a story there. It was during a group project in science class that things changed. Mrs. Patterson had assigned partners randomly, and somehow Maya ended up paired with Lily. Most kids groaned when they got paired with someone they didn't know well, but Maya just smiled and slid her chair over to Lily's desk. "Hey," Maya said, pulling out her notebook. "I'm Maya. I guess we're building a model of the water cycle together." Lily looked up, surprised. Most kids barely acknowledged her existence. Hi, I'm Lily." "Cool. So I was thinking we could make it kind of 3-dimensional? Like, instead of just a poster board, maybe we could use a shoebox and create different levels." For the first time in weeks, Lily felt a small spark of interest. That could actually look really good. "We could use cotton balls for clouds, yes, and maybe blue cellophane for the water. My mom has a ton of craft supplies at home." They worked together for the next 40 minutes, and Maya noticed something else. Lily was smart, really smart. She understood the water cycle better than Maya did, and she had creative ideas about how to build their project. She was also kind of funny when she relaxed a little, making a joke about how their model ocean looked more like a sad puddle. As class ended and they packed up their things, Maya made a decision. "Hey, do you want to sit together at lunch? We could keep planning our project." Lily froze. An invitation? An actual invitation from someone who seemed genuinely nice. Her instinct was to say no, to protect herself from the inevitable moment when Maya would realize Lily wasn't worth being friends with. But something in Maya's open, friendly expression made her take a chance. "Okay," Lily said quietly. Sure, the cafeteria felt different that day. Instead of her lonely corner table, Lily sat with Maya at a table near the windows. Maya's friends weren't there that day, so it was just the two of them, which made it easier. They talked about their project, about their teachers, about Maya's annoying older brother who always ate her leftovers from the fridge. "Brothers are the worst," Maya said, stealing a French fry from her tray. "Does yours do that too?" "I have 2 younger brothers," Lily said. "Danny is 6 and Michael is 9. They're actually pretty sweet most of the time. Always making me drawings and stuff. That's cute. Do you guys do a lot together?" Lily hesitated. How much should she share? But Maya's question seemed genuinely interested, not nosy. "We watch movies sometimes when my mom is at work. Old ones we've seen a million times because we don't have streaming services. But it's nice. They make me laugh." Over the next 2 weeks, Maya and Lily ate lunch together almost every day. They finished their water cycle project and got an A. Their teacher praised the creativity and effort. Lily felt proud in a way she hadn't felt in a long time. And slowly, carefully, she started opening up to Maya. It happened gradually, like layers being peeled away. Lily mentioned her mom working a lot. Then she mentioned working 2 jobs. Then one day when Maya complained about her own mom being annoying about chores, Lily quietly said, "At least she's home to be annoying. My mom is gone basically all the time." Maya heard something in Lily's voice. Not anger. Sadness, deep exhausted sadness. "That must be really hard," Maya said simply. "It is," Lily admitted. "She's trying so hard, you know. She works at the grocery store during the day and cleans offices at night. Sometimes she picks up weekend shifts too. I know she's doing it for us, but I miss her. And I can see how tired she is all the time." "Why does she have to work so much?" Maya asked gently. Lily was quiet for a long moment, pushing her cafeteria food around on her tray. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper. "My dad died last year. Construction accident. After that, everything just fell apart financially. My mom is doing everything she can to keep us afloat." Maya's heart clenched. Suddenly so much made sense. "Lily, I'm so sorry. I can't even imagine how hard that must be." "It's okay," Lily said automatically, the same response she gave everyone. But then she stopped herself. "Actually, no. It's not okay. It's really hard. Some days I feel like I'm drowning and I have to pretend everything is fine because my mom already has enough to worry about." They sat in silence for a moment. Around them, the cafeteria buzzed with normal middle school noise. Kids laughing, trays clattering, someone shouting about a basketball game. But at their table, something important was happening. Someone was finally seeing Lily for who she really was. "Is that why?" Maya started, then stopped, unsure if she should continue. "Why what?" Lily asked. Maya took a breath. "Is that why you wear the same dress?" "I don't mean that in a judgmental way. I noticed and I wondered if there was a reason." Lily felt her face flush with embarrassment. Of course Maya had noticed. Everyone had noticed. The shame that she carried every day came flooding back. But when she looked at Maya's face, she didn't see judgment or mockery. She saw genuine concern and kindness. "Yeah," Lily said finally, her voice shaking slightly. "We don't have money for new clothes. My brothers are growing so fast and they need things for school. My mom is barely keeping up with rent and bills and food. There's nothing left over for me." "What about the dress?" Maya asked gently. "It's the only thing that still fits me from last year. I wash it every single night in the sink and hope it dries by morning. Sometimes it doesn't and I wear it damp. I'm terrified it's going to rip or get a stain that won't come out because then I don't know what I'll wear." Lily's eyes filled with tears, and she quickly wiped them away, glancing around to make sure nobody was watching. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't dump all this on you." "Don't apologize," Maya said firmly. "I asked because I care, and I'm glad you told me." "You probably think I'm pathetic," Lily said, staring down at her hands. "What?" "No, Lily, I think you're incredibly strong. You're dealing with stuff that most kids our age can't even imagine. And you're doing it while keeping up with school and taking care of your brothers. That's not pathetic. That's brave. Lily looked up, surprised. Nobody had ever called her brave before. I don't feel brave. I feel embarrassed and tired and sad most of the time. You can be all those things and still be brave, Maya said. Brave doesn't mean you're not scared or sad. It means you keep going even when you are. Something shifted in that moment. For the first time since her father died, Lily felt like maybe she wasn't completely alone in this. Maybe someone understood. Maybe it was okay to not be okay all the time. Thank you, Lily said quietly, for listening, for not making fun of me, for just being nice. Of course, Maya said. That's what friends do, friends. The word hung in the air between them, warm and full of promise. Lily hadn't had a real friend in so long. Moving through each day had taken all her energy, leaving nothing for friendships or fun or any of the normal things kids their age did. But here was Maya, offering friendship without conditions, seeing past the dress to the person underneath. That evening, Maya couldn't stop thinking about Lily's situation. She sat at her family's dinner table, listening to her parents talk about their days, watching her brother complain about his homework. Their house was warm. There was plenty of food. Nobody worried about making rent or whether clothes would last another week. Maya thought about the closet in her bedroom, stuffed full of clothes she barely wore. She thought about all the times she'd complained about not having the exact shoes she wanted or the right brand of jeans. Now those complaints felt hollow and small compared to what Lily was dealing with. After dinner, Maya found her mom in the kitchen loading the dishwasher. Mom, can I talk to you about something? Of course, sweetheart. What's going on? Maya told her about Lily. Not to gossip or betray confidence, but because she needed adult wisdom on how to help. Her mother listened carefully, her expression growing more concerned and compassionate as the story unfolded. Oh, that poor girl, Maya's mom said when she finished. And her mother too. That must be so incredibly difficult. I want to help, Maya said, but I don't know how. I don't want to embarrass Lily or make her feel worse, her mother thought for a moment. That's very mature of you to consider her feelings. Many people want to help but don't think about the dignity of the person they're helping. Let me think about this. In the meantime, the most important thing you're already doing is being her friend. Sometimes that matters more than anything else. Maya went to bed that night with her mind spinning. There had to be something more she could do. Some way to help Lily without making her feel like a charity case. Some way to make things better. She didn't have all the answers yet, but she knew one thing for certain. She wasn't going to let Lily face this alone anymore. Whatever came next, they would figure it out together. Because that's what friends did. They showed up. They cared. They found ways to help even when the problem seemed too big to solve. And sometimes, Maya thought as she drifted off to sleep, the biggest changes start with one person deciding to pay attention. One person choosing kindness over judgment. One person asking questions instead of making assumptions. Tomorrow, she would talk to Mrs. Patterson. Maybe, together they could figure out a way to help that would preserve Lily's dignity while giving her what she needed. Maya didn't know exactly what that would look like yet, but she was determined to find out. Maya walked into Mrs. Patterson's classroom during lunch period the next day. Her teacher was sitting at her desk, grading papers and eating a sandwich. She looked up when Maya knocked softly on the open door. Maya, hi. Is everything all right? Mrs. Patterson asked, setting down her red pen. Can I talk to you about something important? It's about Lily. Mrs. Patterson's expression shifted to one of concern. She'd been worried about Lily for weeks now. Of course. Come in and close the door. Maya sat down in the chair next to Mrs. Patterson's desk and took a deep breath. She'd practiced what she wanted to say, but now that the moment was here, the words felt jumbled in her head. I don't want to betray Lily's trust, but she's dealing with something really hard and I think she needs help. She said I could talk to you. I appreciate you coming to me, Mrs. Patterson said gently. What's going on? Maya explained everything Lily had shared. About her father's death, about her mother working multiple jobs, about the financial struggles, and yes, about the dress. As she talked, she watched Mrs. Patterson's eyes fill with understanding and sadness. That explains so much, Mrs. Patterson said quietly when Maya finished. I've been watching Lily struggle this whole semester and I knew something was wrong. But every time I asked, she insisted everything was fine. She doesn't want to be a burden, Maya said. She's trying to protect her mom from more worry. But Mrs. Patterson, kids are starting to be mean about the dress. They're making jokes and spreading rumors. Lily acts like it doesn't bother her, but I know it does. Mrs. Patterson leaned back in her chair, thinking. She'd been a teacher long enough to know that situations like this required careful handling. The wrong approach could embarrass Lily further or damage her pride. But doing nothing wasn't an option either. I have an idea, Mrs. Patterson said slowly, but I want to run it by you first, and we need to make sure Lily is comfortable with it too. What is it? What if we use this as a teaching moment for the whole class? Not by calling out Lily specifically or making her the center of attention, but by talking about empathy, about not judging people when we don't know their circumstances, about how everyone is fighting battles we can't see. Maya considered this. You mean like a general discussion about kindness? Exactly. I've been wanting to do more social-emotional learning with my classes anyway. This seems like the right time. If we do it right, we might be able to change how some of these kids think about Lily without ever mentioning her name. I like that, Maya said. But we should ask Lily first if she's okay with it. Agreed. Would you feel comfortable asking her? I think she might be more open with you than with me. Maya nodded. She found Lily in the library during their last period study hall. They sat together at a table in the back corner away from other students. So I talked to Mrs. Patterson, Maya started, and watched Lily's face tighten with anxiety. Wait, don't worry. Nothing bad. We just want to do something that might help, but only if you're okay with it. Lily listened as Maya explained the plan. At first she looked skeptical and scared. The last thing she wanted was to be the subject of some classroom discussion. But Maya assured her that nobody would know the conversation was about her situation specifically. I don't know, Lily said uncertainly. What if it makes things worse? What if it makes things better? Maya countered gently. Look, some kids in our class are being jerks because they don't understand. Maybe if they think about things differently, they'll stop. And even if they don't, at least Mrs. Patterson is trying to do something good. After a long pause, Lily finally nodded. Okay. But if it gets too weird or if people figure out it's about me, then we stop, Maya promised. You're in control here. 3 days later, Mrs. Patterson began her English class differently than usual. Instead of diving into grammar or literature, she asked everyone to close their books and move their desks into a circle. We're doing something different today, she announced. We're going to have a discussion about empathy and judgment. I want everyone to participate, but I also want everyone to feel safe. That means no names, no pointing fingers, no making anyone feel bad. We're here to learn and grow. Understood? The students nodded, looking curious and slightly confused. Tyler, the boy who'd made the comment about Lily's dress, looked particularly puzzled. Jessica, who'd started the smell rumor, shifted uncomfortably in her seat. Mrs. Patterson started with a simple question. Has anyone here ever been judged for something beyond your control? Maybe how you look, where you live, what your family situation is like. The room was quiet at first. Then slowly hands started to raise. A boy named Marcus talked about being judged for his stutter. A girl named Keisha mentioned how people made assumptions about her because of her race. Another student, David, shared how kids made fun of his family's beat-up car. As students shared their experiences, something shifted in the room. The walls that usually existed between different social groups started to crumble a little. Kids who never talked to each other were suddenly seeing each other as human beings with feelings and struggles. Now I want to ask you something harder, Mrs. Patterson said. Has anyone here ever judged someone else without knowing their full story? And I'm including myself in this question because I've definitely done it. The honesty in her admission seemed to give students permission to be honest too. Slowly, a few brave hands went up. Jessica spoke, her voice small. I think we all judge people sometimes. Like we make assumptions based on what we see on the outside. That's a really mature observation, Jessica, Mrs. Patterson said. Why do you think we do that? Maybe because it's easier than actually getting to know someone, offered another student. Or because we're insecure about ourselves, so we focus on other people's problems, Maya added, and several students nodded in recognition. Mrs. Patterson pulled out a piece of paper. I want to read you something. It's a quote from a book called Wonder by R.J. Palacio. If every person in this room made it a rule that wherever you are, whenever you can, you will try to act a little kinder than is necessary, the world really would be a better place. She let the words sink in for a moment. A little kinder than necessary. What do you think that means? Going beyond just being not mean, one student said. Actually being nice on purpose. Including people instead of leaving them out, another added. Not making jokes about things that might hurt someone, Marcus said quietly. And several students looked down at their desks, guilty expressions on their faces. Mrs. Patterson decided to push a little further. Let me give you a hypothetical situation. Imagine there's a student who wears the same outfit frequently. What are some reasons that might be happening? The class went quiet. Several students glanced at Lily without meaning to, but she kept her eyes on her notebook, her face neutral. Maya squeezed her hand under the desk. Maybe they really like that outfit, someone offered hesitantly. Maybe, Mrs. Patterson acknowledged. What else? Maybe they're going through something difficult at home, Keisha said softly. Like money problems or family stuff. Maybe they're dealing with something we don't know about, David added. Something that makes other things like clothes seem less important. Tyler spoke up and his voice was different than usual. Quieter, more thoughtful. Maybe we should mind our own business and not make fun of people for things we don't understand. Mrs. Patterson smiled. That's exactly right, Tyler. And here's the thing. Every single person in this room, including me, is dealing with something. Maybe it's visible, maybe it's not. Maybe it's big, maybe it's small. But we all have our struggles. The question is, what kind of people do we want to be? Do we want to be people who make those struggles harder for each other? Or do we want to be people who make them a little easier? The discussion continued for the rest of the class period. Students talked about times they wished someone had been kinder to them. They talked about regrets, about things they wished they'd done differently. Some students apologized generally for being judgmental, without naming specific incidents or people. As the bell rang and students started packing up, Mrs. Patterson made one final announcement. I want you all to think about one thing this week. Think about one person you might have misjudged or overlooked. Think about one small way you could show kindness to that person. It doesn't have to be big. Sometimes the smallest gestures mean the most. Students filed out slowly, many of them looking thoughtful. Maya walked out with Lily and she could see tears in her friend's eyes. You okay? Maya asked quietly. Yeah, Lily said, wiping her eyes quickly. That was just really nice. The way Mrs. Patterson did that. She didn't make me feel embarrassed or different. She just made everyone think. Did you see Tyler's face when he talked about minding our own business? I think he actually got it. Maybe, Lily said, but she sounded uncertain. Years of being overlooked and whispered about had made her cautious about hope. But over the next few days, something remarkable started happening. Small things at first. A girl named Rachel smiled at Lily in the hallway and said hi. Marcus asked Lily for help with an English assignment, acknowledging that she was really good at writing. In gym class, when teams were being picked, Lily wasn't chosen last for once. Tyler approached Lily's locker one afternoon. She tensed, expecting more comments or jokes. Instead, he looked uncomfortable and said quickly, Hey, I'm sorry about that comment I made a few weeks ago, about your dress. That was stupid and mean. I shouldn't have said it. Before Lily could respond, he walked away quickly like he was embarrassed, but the apology hung in the air, unexpected and genuine. Even Jessica, who'd spread rumors, seemed different. She didn't apologize directly, but she stopped participating in any gossip about Lily. Once, Lily even caught her telling another girl to stop making comments about people's clothes. Maya watched all of this with satisfaction. The classroom discussion hadn't fixed everything, but it had planted seeds. It had made kids pause and think before being cruel. It had reminded them that kindness was a choice they could make every single day. But Maya knew that awareness and kind words, while important, weren't enough to solve Lily's actual problem. She still only had one dress. Her family still struggled financially. The circumstances hadn't changed, even if some attitudes had. One evening, Maya sat at dinner with her family and brought it up again. Mom, Dad, I've been thinking. There has to be more we can do to help Lily. The classroom discussion was good, but she still needs actual help, like real practical help. Her father looked interested. What did you have in mind? I don't know yet, Maya admitted. But I keep thinking there has to be a way to help her and other kids like her, without making anyone feel embarrassed or singled out. Her mother smiled. You know what? I think you might be onto something. Why don't we sleep on it and brainstorm tomorrow? Sometimes the best ideas come when we give our minds time to work. Maya agreed, but she couldn't stop thinking about it. That night, lying in bed, an idea started forming. It was big, it would require help from lots of people, but it might just work. And more importantly, it might help not just Lily, but any student at their school who was quietly struggling. She grabbed her phone and texted Mrs. Patterson, asking if they could talk before school the next day. She had an idea, a really good one. Maya arrived at school 30 minutes early the next morning, her notebook filled with ideas she'd stayed up late writing down. She found Mrs. Patterson already in her classroom, organizing papers and preparing for the day. "You sounded excited in your text," Mrs. Patterson said, with a warm smile. "What's this idea you wanted to share?" Maya sat down and opened her notebook, suddenly nervous. What if her idea was stupid? What if it was too complicated? But then she thought about Lily washing that same dress every night, and her determination returned. "Okay, so I was thinking, that classroom discussion was amazing, and I think it changed how some kids see things. But Lily still needs actual help. And I realize she probably isn't the only kid in our school dealing with stuff like this." Mrs. Patterson nodded, listening intently. "So what if we created something that could help everyone who needs it, not just Lily? Something that doesn't feel like charity or make anyone feel embarrassed. Like, what if we set up a place in the school where students could get clothes and school supplies and things they need, but do it privately so nobody has to feel ashamed?" Mrs. Patterson's eyes lit up. "That's a wonderful idea, Maya. Like a resource closet or pantry." "Exactly. We could call it something that doesn't sound like charity, maybe the community closet or the share space, and we could stock it with donations from families who have extra stuff. I know my closet is full of clothes I barely wear. I bet lots of other families have the same thing." "I love this," Mrs. Patterson said, already making notes. "But we'd need to make sure it's accessible and dignified. Students would need to be able to access it without everyone knowing. What if we put it near the guidance counselor's office?" Maya suggested. "That area already has private rooms, and students go there for all kinds of reasons, so nobody would know specifically why someone was going." They spent the next 20 minutes fleshing out the idea. It would need approval from the principal, of course. They'd need space, shelving, a system for organizing donations. Most importantly, they'd need to figure out how to spread the word about it in a way that encouraged both donations and use, without stigmatizing anyone. "There's something else," Maya said, pulling out another page from her notebook. "I want to do something specific with our class first." "Like a solidarity project, what do you mean?" Maya took a deep breath. "What if everyone in our English class committed to wearing the same outfit for a whole week? Like, we'd each pick one outfit and wear it every single day, Monday through Friday. That way we could understand what Lily experiences, and it would show her that we get it, that we're standing with her." Mrs. Patterson was quiet for a moment, considering. "That's powerful, Maya, really powerful. But we need to make sure it doesn't feel performative or like we're making a spectacle of Lily's situation." "I know," Maya agreed. "That's why I think we should present it as a challenge about appreciating what we have and understanding different perspectives. We wouldn't make it about any one person. We'd make it about empathy and awareness. And it might make other students throughout the school curious," Mrs. Patterson added, warming to the idea, "which could help us promote the community closet when we get it set up." "Exactly. And Mrs. Patterson, I think we should donate everything we collect, like really good stuff. Not just old ratty things people don't want anymore. My mom said she'd help organize a proper donation drive among the parents too." By the time other students started arriving, Maya and Mrs. Patterson had a plan. They would present both ideas to the class that day. The one-week clothing challenge would happen first, starting the following Monday. Meanwhile, they'd work on getting approval and donations for the community closet. During English class, Mrs. Patterson addressed the students with barely contained excitement. "Remember our discussion about empathy earlier this week? Today Maya has a proposal that I think is really special. Maya, do you want to share?" Maya stood up, her heart pounding. Public speaking wasn't her favorite thing, but this mattered too much to stay quiet. "So I've been thinking a lot about what we talked about being kinder and not judging people, and I had an idea for how we could put that into action." She explained the one-week challenge, watching her classmates' faces as she spoke. Some looked interested. Others looked confused. A few looked skeptical. "I know it sounds weird," Maya continued, "but think about it. Most of us have so many clothes that choosing what to wear is actually hard sometimes. We complain about having nothing to wear when our closets are literally full. What if we experienced what it's like to have just one option? Not forever, just for 1 week. Why would we do that? Tyler asked, but his tone wasn't mocking. He seemed genuinely curious. To understand, Maya said simply. To build empathy. To appreciate what we have. And to show that we're a class that cares about each other. Rachel raised her hand. I think it's a good idea. I'm in. Me too, Keisha added. It's only 5 days. And honestly, it might be kind of nice not to stress about what to wear every morning. Marcus nodded. I'll do it. Could be interesting. One by one, students started agreeing. Even the ones who seemed unsure didn't want to be the only ones not participating. Within 10 minutes, the entire class had committed to the challenge. Lily sat quietly through all of this, unsure how to feel. Part of her was touched by the gesture. Part of her was terrified of being the center of attention. Maya caught her eye and smiled reassuringly as if to say, this isn't about putting you on display. This is about all of us learning something. Then Mrs. Patterson shared the second part of the plan. Maya and I have been working on something else too. We're going to create a community closet here at school. It'll be a place where any student who needs clothes, school supplies, or other essentials can access them privately and with dignity. She explained how it would work, emphasizing that it wasn't charity. It was community members helping each other. Everyone goes through hard times. Everyone needs help sometimes. This would simply make that help available. We're going to need donations, Mrs. Patterson continued. Good quality items that are clean and in good condition. And here's the thing. I'm asking our class to lead this initiative. I think we can set an example for the whole school. The energy in the room shifted. What had started as a discussion about empathy was becoming something real, something tangible. Students started volunteering immediately. I can bring clothes, Rachel said. I have so much stuff I've outgrown. My dad works for a company that does school supply drives, David offered. I bet he could get them to donate notebooks and backpacks and stuff. My mom's on the PTA, Jessica added. She could help spread the word to other parents. Ideas flowed rapidly. Someone suggested making flyers. Another student offered to design a logo for the community closet. They decided to make it a school-wide project, but their English class would be the founding group, the ones who got it started. Lily felt overwhelmed. All of this had started because Maya cared enough to pay attention. Because Mrs. Patterson had turned that care into action, and now somehow her entire class was rallying around an idea that would help not just her, but potentially dozens of other students who struggled in silence. After class, several students approached Lily directly for the first time in months. Not to mock her, not to whisper about her, to actually talk to her. Hey, I just want you to know I think what Maya's doing is really cool, Rachel said. And I'm sorry if I ever made you feel bad. I wasn't paying attention to what might be going on with people. Thanks, Lily said, unsure what else to say. Sorry seemed inadequate for the way Rachel's words made her feel seen and validated. Over the next week, Lincoln Middle School transformed. Word spread about the One Outfit Challenge, and what started with one English class grew. Students from other grades asked if they could participate too. By the time Monday arrived, nearly 100 students had signed up to wear the same outfit all week. The reactions were fascinating. Some kids got creative, styling their repeated outfit differently each day with accessories. Others kept it simple. A few made it fun, turning it into a photo project where they documented their outfit journey. But all of them experienced something new. They experienced the weird feeling of being aware of wearing the same thing again, the slight self-consciousness, the wondering if people were noticing or judging. For students who'd never thought twice about their clothes, it was eye-opening. For students who'd always had plenty, it was humbling. Tyler wore the same jeans and black t-shirt all week. By Wednesday, he admitted to his friends, "This is actually kind of annoying. Like, I keep thinking about it. I'm worried I might spill something on this shirt, because then what would I wear? I never thought about that before, right?" Keisha agreed. She'd chosen a comfortable outfit, but by Thursday she was tired of it. "I keep wanting to change into something else, and then I remember I can't. It's making me realize how much I take for granted." Meanwhile, donations for the community closet poured in. Maya's mother organized the parent donation drive, and the response exceeded all expectations. Garbage bags full of gently used clothes arrived daily. Local businesses heard about the project and contributed school supplies, backpacks, and even gift cards for shoes. The school's guidance counselor, Ms. Roberts, worked with the principal to allocate space for the closet. They chose a small room near the guidance office, just as Maya had suggested. They installed clothing racks, shelves, and bins. They created a system where students could sign out items privately, without anyone else knowing. Mrs. Patterson and Maya organized everything carefully. They sorted clothes by size and type. They arranged school supplies neatly. They made the space welcoming and organized, like a small boutique rather than a charity bin. Signs on the wall said things like, "Take what you need and we're here for each other." Lily watched all of this unfold in amazement. She helped sort donations after school, working alongside Maya, Rachel, Keisha, and other classmates who'd volunteered. As she folded shirts and organized shoes by size, she kept thinking about how drastically her life had changed in just a few weeks. "This is incredible," she said to Maya one afternoon as they worked. "I can't believe this is really happening." "Believe it," Maya said with a grin. "And Lily, you get to be one of the first people to shop here. I want you to pick out a whole week's worth of outfits. More if you want." Lily's eyes filled with tears. "I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything. Just let us help." That's what all of this is about. The Friday of the One Outfit Challenge arrived. Students came to school with a sense of accomplishment. They'd done it. They'd worn the same outfit for 5 straight days. It wasn't life-changing for most of them, but it was consciousness-raising. They'd experienced a tiny fraction of what some of their peers lived with every single day. In English class that afternoon, Mrs. Patterson asked students to reflect on the experience. The responses were thoughtful and genuine. Students talked about taking things for granted, about judging others too quickly, about wanting to be more aware and kind. And then Tyler did something unexpected. He stood up and looked directly at Lily. "I want to apologize. For real this time. I made a comment weeks ago about someone and their clothes, and it was mean and thoughtless. I didn't know what that person might be going through. I didn't think about how my words might hurt. This week made me realize that a little bit. So yeah, I'm sorry." The classroom was silent. Everyone knew he was talking to Lily without saying her name. Lily nodded, accepting the apology with more grace than Tyler probably deserved. "Thank you," she said quietly. "That means a lot." Other students followed Tyler's lead, offering their own apologies and reflections. The classroom became a space of healing and growth, of kids learning to be better humans. As the final bell rang that Friday, Maya and Lily walked out together. The community closet would officially open the following Monday. The One Outfit Challenge was complete. But more than that, something fundamental had shifted at Lincoln Middle School. Students had learned that empathy wasn't just a concept to discuss. It was an action to take, a choice to make every single day. Monday morning arrived with a buzz of excitement throughout Lincoln Middle School. Today was the official opening of the community closet. Maya had arrived early to help Ms. Roberts do final preparations, making sure everything looked perfect and welcoming. But there was another surprise that morning. One that nobody had planned, but that would end up meaning everything. Lily walked through the school's main entrance wearing something different. New jeans that actually fit her properly, paired with a soft green sweater she'd chosen from the community closet donations on Friday afternoon. It was the first time since school started that she'd worn something other than the blue dress. She'd carefully folded that dress and placed it in her drawer at home, both grateful to have other options and oddly emotional about putting it away. The sweater was comfortable and warm. The jeans didn't have any worn spots or loose threads. Lily felt different somehow, not completely transformed. She was still herself, still dealing with the same difficult home situation. But she felt a little less invisible, a little less ashamed, a little more like she belonged. But what she didn't expect was what happened when she reached Mrs. Patterson's English class. She walked in and stopped in her tracks. Every single student in the classroom was wearing the exact same outfit they'd worn during the challenge week. The same jeans or skirts or pants, the same shirts or sweaters, everything identical to what they'd worn Monday through Friday the previous week. "What's going on?" Lily asked, confused. Maya walked over with a huge smile. "We talked about it over the weekend. We decided that just because the official challenge is over doesn't mean we should stop. So we're doing one more week. All of us together, but why?" Lily's voice cracked slightly. Rachel spoke up from her desk. "Because we wanted you to know you're not alone. And because, honestly, the challenge taught us something. It made us more aware. So we figured, why not keep that awareness going a little longer?" Tyler nodded. Plus, it's kind of become our thing now. Like a class identity or something. Lily felt tears threatening again. She'd cried more in the past few weeks than she had in months, but these were different tears. These weren't tears of shame or loneliness. These were tears of belonging, of being seen, of being valued. Thank you, she managed to say. All of you. I don't even know how to tell you what this means. You don't have to, Keisha said warmly. We're just glad you're here with us. As word spread throughout the school about the English class wearing their challenge outfits for a second week, other students got curious. What had started as a single-class project had somehow become a movement. At lunch, Maya found herself surrounded by students from different grades asking about the community closet, about the challenge, about how they could get involved. A local news reporter had heard about the project from a parent and reached out to Principal Henderson, asking if they could do a story. At first, the principal hesitated, worried about protecting student privacy. But after talking with Mrs. Patterson, Maya, and yes, Lily, they decided that sharing the story might inspire other schools to create similar programs. The news crew came on Wednesday afternoon. They filmed the community closet, interviewed Mrs. Patterson and Maya, and spoke with several students about the One Outfit Challenge and what they'd learned from it. Lily had the option to be interviewed but chose not to. She didn't need to be in the spotlight. She was happy to let others tell the story. The segment aired that Friday evening. A beautiful 4-minute piece about empathy, community, and how one middle school decided to take action instead of just talking about kindness. The reporter called it a dress that changed everything and focused on how awareness of one student's struggle had sparked a school-wide initiative to help many. The response was overwhelming. By Monday morning, Lincoln Middle School's main office was flooded with calls and emails. Other schools wanted to know how to set up their own community closets. Local organizations wanted to donate. Businesses offered to sponsor ongoing supplies. One clothing company even offered to provide gift cards quarterly to keep the closet stocked. But the most touching responses came from parents in their own school district. A mother called to thank them, sharing through tears that her family had been struggling since her husband lost his job, and her son had been using the community closet. She'd felt so ashamed until she saw the news story and realized that accepting help didn't make her a failure. It made her part of a community that cared.